I'm Jim Shatner. I've done a lot of things in my career, but this takes the cake. This is so cool. You, Joseph, today, it's all about you. You won the internet. Congratulations. It's exciting. It makes me want to celebrate. Makes me want to get up out of this chair. Makes me want to sing. Makes me want to dance. Makes me want to shout. Kick my heels up. Throw my hands up. Toss my head back. No, really, people should be shouting your name in the street.
Come on now. Sing
that song.
Joseph,
Sing it out loud.
Joseph.
I want to celebrate. Put it up in lights. No one else deserves to be celebrated like you because you are the best.
Hi, this is Penn Gillette, Penn and Teller. Big guy does magic, smaller guy next to me. He does magic too. He doesn't talk that much. I want to talk about Joseph Jaffe is not famous. And Joseph Jaffe is not famous. Joseph Jaffe is wicked not famous. Joseph Jaffe is superlatively not famous, and for good and sufficient reason. I mean, maybe his guests are famous. Maybe his guests are famous. He gets some famous people on his guests, but Joseph Jaffe himself is not famous. That's the important part. You can have famous guests and still not be famous. And if you want an example of that, well, Joseph Jaffe would be a really good example. Teller would do a better job at a talk show, and Teller doesn't talk, which you'd think would be one of the major qualification of being on a talk show and not being famous. What's that, Teller? Oh, yeah. Teller says, Joseph Jaffe, not famous. Love you.
A spring in your step. There is a twinkle in your eye.
I can throw a rhyme down for you real quick. Yes, they call me Thrill. They say that I'm the man. You disagree, how could you? Let me make you understand.
Should we bring her on the show? Can anybody find me? And there she is.
Fresh as some bread. Pull right from the oven. When you feel rejected, get some my loving.
Take on me.
She looks wonderful. Mom looks amazing.
Somebody too. Okay, Mom, bugger off now. I've got to show it to you.
Like that?
Joseph Jaffe, ladies and gentlemen.
You just made the new intro of the show. Well, it is Friday. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It is time not just for another episode of Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous, but the very first NFT Friday version of Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous. And as you saw in the credits, thank you very much, Penn, I'm not famous, but certainly my guests are. A little sneak preview, as we often do, to let you know who's going to be on the show next week. We've got Nathaniel Moore, aka Amari, one of my fellow creator coin holders on Monday, Brian Clark, Dr. Helen Fisher, and Todd Churches on Thursday. And I'm sure many of you want to know who is going to be on NFT Friday next Friday, and that would be an avatar. That would be, I'm just kidding, that would be Jeremy Posvar, and we're going to be finding out all about and talking about X-Punks, expansion punks. Many of us know about crypto punks, but the expansion punks project is just phenomenal, especially with their point of view and their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's say a couple of hellos. Lee is here and set a reminder, and I hope Lee enjoys it. Lubna, one of our regulars, is here. Hello, Lubna. Glenn waiting for the NFT show. I remember so many of the excerpts you're playing for your intro. You are a regular. Manif is a regular as well. I hear you guys. I appreciate you guys. And there is so much value in today that you're just going to love it, and you might even win something in return. But today we're focusing on Michelle McCormack. We're focusing on the incredible initiative behind Fierce NFT's collection. She is the founder and creative director. And we're going to be finding out all about that project soon. But first, I have some things for you. You know that. I'm going to be giving away Jaffe coin, as I always do. I've decided to extend this a little bit. We're going to be giving away a few more coin because we are inviting the entire Fierce Studio Discord server, the entire collection holders into the show, and want to give you some Jaffe coin. All you got to do is you can look at the bonfire link, the airdrop link that is in my server, or you can certainly just look at that, shine your smartphone on that smart QR code and get some smart Jaffe coin in return. It's just something small that we do here for you, just to say that we appreciate you. Well, one of the things that I've done this week is I've decided to depart from writing a script for my seated soliloquy and instead give you just off the cuff some, I don't know, thought leadership or thoughts. Who knows if they're maybe thought followership? Who the hell knows? But just some of my thoughts based on whatever's going on in the world, what my guest is talking about, what the themes of the week are, or in this case, I decided that what I would do is something that I called dropping some Amiga, because in the NFT world, in the Web3 world, we talk about dropping alpha, and alpha refers to knowledge or information that nobody else knows. It is hot off the press. It is proprietary, perhaps, but it's being able to release valuable information to a small group of people before the rest of the world. So I decided, if that is what alpha is, why not let me give you what I'm going to call Amiga? I'm not even sure if that's a thing, but it is now. Amiga refers to some of my thoughts, some of my insights that I hope can be just as valuable to you. And as always, what I will do is I will use my egg timer as a way to keep me honest and keep me to about 3 minutes or so. So I thought what I would do is look back on the week that was and issue some reflections. Now, about a week ago, I never had a Discord server. I never really had a Discord server. I mean, I'd seen it, I'd experienced it, I was down the rabbit hole. It seemed too much. I certainly didn't think it wasn't a thing. I just didn't know if it was a thing for me. And now, Not Famous Discord is such a part of my life that I don't know how I ever lived without it. And it's game changing. So Not Famous Discord was born, but so was NFT Fridays. And it's not just about NFT Fridays. It's not just about the Discord server. It's about the fact that we're actually going to be giving away an NFT associated with this incredible collection, the Fierce collection. But all of this didn't exist a week ago. Now that's scary. It's kind of scary to think that my life, this is going to be such an important part of my life. The Discord server, NFT Fridays, me getting behind NFTs, celebrating founders, giving away an NFT and connecting that giveaway to my Discord server, to my show. More on that soon. But this is the process of creativity. This is the process of experimentation. This is the process of innovation. You don't overthink. You trust your gut. You trust your instinct. You just go with it. And you realize that one thing leads to another thing, which leads to another thing, which leads to another thing. And then you look back, and you don't look back with regret. You don't look back saying, why didn't I do Discord a week before, a month before, a quarter before? Not at all. You just celebrate where you are. And you celebrate where you will be in a week's time, in a month's time, in a quarter's time, and especially when others are procrastinating, are debating, are overthinking, are issuing research, are explaining why it won't work instead of determining why it will work. That's the Amiga. The Amiga is to take the alpha and do something with it. to just do it. Done is better than perfect. That is the power of now. It is the power of what we're learning in Web3, that we can change the world, but only if we actually execute. Only if we can build those bridges, as we'll talk about soon enough, between business and brand, between cause and commerce. Only if we can figure out how to move and move forward. And with that said, it is time for us to move forward. And just before I welcome Michelle, just going to look at some of the comments as well. Lubna says she appreciates the Jaffe coin, and she adds she's looking forward to hearing about this project. So am I. Bob Farnham is here as well. And as I said, and a certain gentleman by the name of Brian Dale Fanzo is here, and he says, we are living in amazing times. Of course we are, because I get to hang out and interact with Fanzo on a fairly regular basis, and I get to hang out with Michelle McCormack, who is the founder and creative director of Fierce NFT Collection. Just a little brief background about her. Michelle, and her team are obsessed with utility. Utility, that is a key takeaway from today. They are working tirelessly to bring Fierce holders licensing deals with major brands. Just the perfect person to bring on the show. Let's say hello to her. Michelle, welcome to Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous.
Hey, Joseph. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, you are the alpha and the omega, because first of all, you're guest number 313 in this little journey of mine, but you're also guest number 1. You're my first NFT founder, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have you in the studio.
I love that.
Yeah, to talk about you, to talk about your project, to talk about what's on your mind, and talk about things. They can be of substance, or quite frankly, they can be frivolous as well. We move from the sublime to the ridiculous on the show, because I think life these days is both sublime and ridiculous. So we sent our investigators into the field to find out some skinny on you. And this is what we found, is that you were once chased by a lion in Africa. I'm from Africa. I've never been chased by a lion. Please tell us the story.
Okay, definitely. It's actually, that trip was like the most life-changing trip of my life. It was when I was a photo assistant, and I was on a photo shoot for Town and Country, Kruger National Park, which I know you know of. 3 weeks, luxury, unbelievable. I mean, I had the best life back then. It was like my first job. And anyway, so we're in an open Range Rover, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And it was like wide open, and the trekkers were up front, and I'm in the back with Michael, the photographer, who had, and this was like in the late 90s when there was still film. And so he had his Canon, and we came up upon a lion, and it was really last minute. Like normally the trekkers know exactly where the lions are, but this was like out of the blue, and they were like, oh shit. And Michael was like, please stop, I want to get him, because he was so close. So Michael's shooting him. So I'm on the side of the lion. Michael's shooting him, and I'm just like looking. And the lion is like, I don't know, I'm so bad with feet. I don't know, 20 feet. And it was like the blackest eyes. Like, I just was like, this thing like does not have a soul. And I love them. And so Michael's shooting, and we're all excited. And then all of a sudden, it comes to the end of the roll. And so everyone's being quiet. So just so you know, the trucker's like, you cannot say a word. You can't make a sudden movement, or he's going to fucking come and he's going to like kill you. And so Michael comes to the end of the roll, and it starts to rewind. And I don't know if you've ever heard, are you familiar with those cameras from the old days?
Oh, yeah.
When they would rewind. So it was loud. It was like, so the lion gets up like this, and the trekker had turned off the Range Rover, so it wasn't making any noise. So the lion didn't kill us. And so the lion cuts up like this when that happens to Michael's camera. The trekker starts. This is all happening step by step, and as this is happening, the lion's moving towards us. I am literally trying to climb over Michael and get out of it, which was like the dumbest idea, but it just goes to show you what happens when you're like in complete like shock trauma. And the trekker got the car started. We stepped on the gas, and this was like really quickly, and the lion was behind us, and it was really close, and we stepped on it, and it was chasing us, and of course we lost it, but like we got away, but it was so close. We literally could have died that day.
You know, it looks like you're holding the negatives, or you're holding the film in this very true to life account of your experience. You know the old joke that says, someone's about to be chased by a lion with no soul, and one person says to the other person, "How fast can you run?" And they turn around, they go, "That's such a stupid question. Everyone knows you can't outrun a lion." And they turn around, they say, "Yeah, I don't need to be able to outrun a lion. I just need to be able to outrun you." See, the beautiful thing about hosting your own show, everybody laughs at my dad jokes.
I was just going to say.
Exactly. Nubian Baxter is here saying, "I made it." And Ty says, "So animated. I love it." It's fantastic to see people coming from your community complimenting you as the best storyteller. That's what we're doing today. We are bringing together ideas, and we are bringing together communities. It's something really special. Now, we are also not just bringing together, we are giving something away. So this is an opportunity to share. And I want to thank you for being so gracious in terms of giving away one of your amazing NFTs. So if you want to win one of these NFTs, you really just have to do 3 things. And I'm going to go ahead and post that or paste that in the comments. If you can't read the screen too well, I just did that. You need to join the Incredible Fierce Studios Discord, join Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous Discord, and I mean, I'm sure you are already, subscribe to the show on YouTube. And those links are provided below. And then we will pick someone randomly to win one of these NFTs. Lubna says she's already done all of those things. So right now, Lubna, if you're the only one, congratulations, you're winning an NFT. And boy, oh boy, are you going to be a winner? Nubian Baxter says, "I'm already in your Discord." Well, you guys are now, Lubna, your chances of winning just went from 100% to 50%. But it's just something amazing to do. And I want to talk about this incredible collection. And I want to talk about you. We're going to get there in a moment. But first, Michelle, the word fierce, it's an important word. And what I always do on the show is I always find a quote. And this is the quote that I found. Normally I bring it in a little bit later, but I thought I would bring it in very early into today's conversation. So this is the quote. "I am not a snowflake. I'm not a sweet, infantilizing symbol of fragility and life. I'm a strong, fierce, flawed, adult woman. I plan to remain that way in life and in death." And
Can I guess who that was? Can I guess who said that?
I don't know if you'll be
right. Oh, you
right,
don't know?
but no, I do know.
I was gonna say Toni Morrison.
No, so actually it is Stella. It is Stella Young, and this is kind of, I want to say kind of crazy, but Stella Young gave an incredible TED talk. Unfortunately, she has since passed away. But she turned around and she said, "I'm not your inspiration. Thank you very much." And I was watching her TED talk today called "Inspiration Porn and the Objectification of Disability," an outstanding TED talk. And I thought, like, she was just the perfect person to introduce this concept of being fierce. So I want to ask you, what does being fierce mean to you? Why is that word the center, the cog of this whole project?
Well, I love the way she uses it. And I won't lie and say that it has anything to do with so me and my team, we don't have a disability like that, right? So I wouldn't say it's on that same level, but you know, it came from, this all started from my company Casting Coin, which is like a business. And this collection, well, Fierce Studios, and then the collection Fierce Models is based on the models within that collection and empowering them to sort of own their own careers. And so the word fierce is something that literally just came to me. I have one of the things I have a knack for is copy, like copywriting and like these things like Casting Coin, the alliteration, and fierce. And I thought it and it landed and I went with it and I love it.
I love it too, and absolutely, I mean, you couldn't be more right. It's not about anything. It's about what you want it to be, but it's a very, very important word. And I have to say, you know, as a male, it's not a word associated with men. It's maybe it should be, but maybe it shouldn't be. So what it means to you, and we're going to get into this, which I think is fiercely awesome, is this idea of commerce, and I love it. And we're going to get into that. But first, you know, you saw me flash a little bit of the website Fierce Studios. I want you, if you don't mind, to just introduce the project, and then I cannot wait to show everyone my NFT.
Sure. So Fierce Studios, just from a high level, is our long-term goal is to have a photo studio in the metaverse, similar to your Pier 59 or your Milk Studios, where actually photo shoots take place. And well, you know, there's a photographer in New York and a creative director in LA, and they're actually collaborating within like a metaverse. And then also, you know, runway shows and networking events. And we're actually, we've already negotiated, we're releasing space in Decentraland. And so that's the long term for Fierce Studios. Our first initiative for that is Fierce Models, which is our 10,000 PFP collection that we dropped 3 weeks ago. And so that collection, it's based on 10 Casting Coin models. If you look at them, they're you can see that some of them look very like, that's Tori. And so there's 1,000 of Tori dressed in all different awesome fashion. And so as the creative director and as somebody that's very embedded in the fashion world, it was very important for me that the art and, you know, be very like the clothing be like basically my style in a way, you know, but we put a lot of time into finding the right artist for that. And actually we were supposed to drop in September. And I went through like three different artists, and until I finally found the person that would like sit with me, screen share with me for 4 hours a day, and come up, you know, execute this collection. And so that's what this is. And so it's like I say, it's based on those 10 models. It's loosely based, like they're not totally identified with that. The models are getting 5% of mint, and then a percentage of sales forever. But we want people to feel like they are identified personally with the NFT. It's not that model's NFT. And so you have when you own one of our NFTs, you have full licensing IP, you own it. And so what we're doing as a team is our main goal is to help our holders earn revenue, leveraging our relationships in the fashion industry. I mean, the three of us come from like, you know, Chanel, like I said, Town & Country earlier, like all of these like big brands, and we're leveraging these to bring deals to our holders.
It's unbelievable. And look, in addition to everything, right, you're giving 1,000 Dreams Fund a portion of the proceeds from your Genesis NFT drop, which will help them continue their mission of providing girls with college scholarships.
But you know what? I want to say one thing. One of the reasons, like, I want to tell you why we're doing that, and I don't think a lot of people talk about this. It's so freaking lucrative, these NFT drops right now. Like, this is the most amazing time to be in Web3 and to, like, if you have a great idea to drop a collection, because if you sell out your collection, it is so lucrative that it makes sense business wise to donate to a cause because it's a tax write-off. But it's also like it's just the right, it kind of, for me, it feels like it's the right thing to do.
I love the honesty. I mean, I love the honesty of just saying, kind of just do it, but just do it because you can actually make money. And why would we apologize with the ability to not just take care of ourselves, our families, our kids,
Yeah.
but actually an industry, and that's what you're doing. And I mean, it's refreshing because I feel like a lot of people sometimes actually hide behind a cause, or the cause becomes the crutch. And I was saying to you in the green room earlier, like the ultimate cause is making sure that people earn what they deserve to earn. Making a living is a cause. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah. It's not something to be ashamed of. Business is business. If you're good at business and you're an honest business person, you are like a benefit to your family and your friends, and you
Yeah.
can do good for the world.
I love that, and we're getting so many amazing comments. I'm trying to like put some of them up as well. Fanzo, you just happen to be at the bottom saying super refreshing, and Faith James, previous guest on the show, hashtag be unapologetic. David is here. David Ehrenthal. He said, nice to run in a few, but nice to see you, Joseph. So but more importantly, he said, he was going back to fierce, and he said, I wonder how it aligns with the word brave. Is being fierce brave?
Well, in terms of our team and what we're doing, I guess if I had to think about it, it's brave to put your put everything sort of on the line for something. And I don't mean that like us as a team. It's not like we're putting our whole lives on the line. But it's like it's a lot that we've been spending like 6 months now doing this, and it's like blood, sweat, and tears, and we believe so strongly in it. And it's not always easy. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like you get like a lot of rejections, or things don't happen the way you think it should happen. And so just like any other business or like being ambitious in anything, it's like it's a matter of like taking those knocks and then every day just putting your 2 feet on the ground, heads down, believe in what you're doing, and I always say the word honest, because I'm not saying I'm like this honest person, but I mean I am in a way, only because I know that if you don't do it honestly, eventually it's going to like be a disaster. And so that's really important to us, to always do the next right thing in business. And I know, honestly, I know for a fact everything's fine. It always is. It always turns out exactly the way I want it when I do the next right thing. Maybe the process isn't how I thought it would be. Maybe the journey is not as like how I thought it would be, but I end up where I want to be.
I love that. Such a beautiful phrase. Everything's fine. It's like so calming as well. That was beautiful to hear in terms of the soundbite. And I was thinking to myself as you were talking, right now we see woman-owned, woman-led projects in the NFT space. Just this week, Woman Rose, thousands and thousands of their NFTs automagically were sold, and now I believe they're sold out. And I was wondering what happens. How do you feel when you see another project go through that boost? And do you welcome it? Do you embrace it? Do you say, fantastic, that means our time is coming? Is this the time for woman-run and woman-owned projects in general, in terms of this idea of, what they say, Michelle, an overnight success, 3 years in the making?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot there, and I've done a lot of thinking around this. I think that so I've analyzed a lot of these women-led projects that are blowing up and have blown up, and there's one thing that they have in common, and it's this one person is a common denominator. I won't say who it is, but it is one person is a common denominator, and they move the markets. And the thing that's different about us, we are a women-led project, but we are not a cause. And so it's not as, so if you look at us, we have not been on that wave at all. And so we're not, from my point of view, it doesn't send a signal, or it's not sexy to be behind a women-led project that's all about earning money and being, business and like talk about revenue. We don't talk about women's empowerment. We are powerful. And I don't have a problem with women. I love them. I'm glad they're doing it. What I do have a problem with is being ignored as a women-led team when we obviously have like more utility than like anyone. We are like heads down trying to make money for our holders. We have partnerships with Saucony. We have partnerships in the works and that are signing on dotted line like this week with 3 other major brands. No one talks about us. And honestly, like we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And we're growing our community little by little. They all know that we're adding value. And so we know, it's like I said earlier, next right thing, keep doing the next right thing. And what is good and it works.
Well, listen, all I have to say is you have in me a fan, you have in me a supporter, this is my new favorite phrase, right? Everything's fine. But I love it. I love the fire. I love the passion. And as a brand guy myself, I've got to tell you that there are, to be able to get a brand like Saucony aboard is fantastic. And the things that brands want, and you know this, I mean, we're both from the same industry. Brands want brand safety. They need to be able to operate in a safe environment. And that is worth that. It's all about trust. It's all about the integrity of the people, the integrity of the product, the integrity of the community. And they will rather pay a premium for that than the flash and the fly by night. And so
the fact that we can even get meetings, Joseph, I'm also like a brand person. And like the fact that we can even get meetings is like amazing. The fact that we're like getting actual brand deals where, typically it's like months in legal. But because the NFT space is so new and they want to be involved, they're willing to do stuff a lot faster. And because they trust us. And as a team, like there's not much more you can ask for than me, Marissa, and Peg, when we have like all of these big brands that just are trusting us.
You said something about a person, and by the way, Cassandra, it's great to see Cassandra here. She said females rise and community is the frequency. And before I forget, shout out to my mother who's watching in South Africa, and Steve Garfield, who said, great to see 2 good friends together. Turns out we share Steve Garfield in common.
We share Steve.
But now, so you spoke about a certain male that can move the market. And I think it's obvious to everyone who that male is. It's Brian Fanzo. The man of course, the man, you can take that one, Fanzo, to the bank. The man that has NFT 365, the man that has Mint 365, and he is a correspondent on this show on Tuesdays and Fridays. And here is his segment for today.
What's up, friends? Brian Fanzo, iSocial Fans here. And when we think about Web3 and we think about where the technology like blockchain is going, I think it's very easy for us to immediately think about things like cryptocurrency or NFTs or even like the creator coins. Shout out to Jaffe coin here, or even like the metaverse. But really, what I believe we have to focus on is it's less about the technology changing and more about our mindset shift to understand where and who owns what in this new digital world. And that shift of ownership, the shift of responsibility is good and can be bad, right? And I think when we look at things like people that are having their wallets hacked right now, or you look at people that are making millions of dollars selling these expensive JPEGs, it's easy for us to be like, oh, it must be nice to be the 1%ers, or it must be nice to be an early adopter. But really what we have to recognize is the ownership responsibility is shifting from them to us. And with that ownership responsibility, it's up to us to protect our data, to not let someone hack into what we're doing. And the part that it can be a little bit overwhelming with that is that it doesn't allow us to blame anyone else but ourselves. And so as we look at some of these technologies, the beauty and the opportunities in front of us are truly endless. But that doesn't mean it's going to come without some, disappointment, some crashes and burns, some what is referred to as rug pulls in the NFT space, where people are going to, do money grabs and really, disrupt in ways that aren't healthy. But, I say this a lot, but no invention since the beginning of time has been immune to the fact of being able to be used for evil or allowing bad people to do bad things. It's really up to us to understand the underlying principles. And I don't look at it like Ethereum versus Bitcoin versus Solana. I look at it and say, what does Solana offer as a blockchain technology that will allow us to do new things? What does Bitcoin enable that others are able to do? What does Ethereum enable? And if we're able to recognize that it's not competition between blockchains or even cryptocurrencies, it's more about understanding their functionality, their features, and really what they're designed to do, we can then start building on top of them different projects and things that are happening. And that's really what's happening with cryptocurrency and NFTs. But we've only just begun. And I think the exciting part is Web3 is here to stay. And where we're going, I don't think anyone knows, even a futurist, but I'm excited to be on that path. So hope you guys are excited to meet. Remember, it's a mindset shift, not a technology shift. Cheers.
The man is so talented. He's actually typing and responding to people while he's talking. I don't know how he does it. So that was Fanzo. Now, Michelle, I've been waiting, chomping at the bit now for 37 minutes to show off my purchase. I absolutely love her. I mean, I guess it's Eli, or Ellie, I should say.
Ellie.
Ellie. I was like, Eli, it's definitely not Eli. I love her to pieces. In fact, I've decided that she's actually going to sponsor the show. So she's now the logo at the top right. So please tell Ellie that I've made her my PFP on Twitter, on Clubhouse, on Discord.
You have a very rare one. Yeah. I think it's very rare.
I'm not selling her for love nor money. And I decided to do something actually, which is, I was in a room in Clubhouse, and it was all about parenting in this NFT world, etc. And I actually spoke about something, as I have a daughter, and spoke about this idea of what we should be doing right now for our daughters is we should be buying NFTs of woman-run, woman-owned projects, but maybe projects as well for women, right? Which speaks to what you're saying, and maybe the biggest gift we can ever give them is that when they grow up and when they understand and appreciate, they have a bag. They have all of these magnificent, NFTs that at this point are not expensive JPEGs, right? Are not. It's not about flaws and about anything more than it is about the community that has been created and nurtured and that they are privileged enough to be a part of. The problem is that I'm not giving my daughter this NFT because I love her so much. I know you wanted to say something.
I think it was Fanzo that I think he has a teenage daughter, possibly. It was somebody I was talking to.
He has 3.
Exactly. Okay. So our NFT, Fierce NFTs, are perfect for people that have teenage daughters because almost all teenage girls love fashion, and ours has definitely the coolest fashion. I don't think that's arguable. And so any girl would love to have, especially like one of the ones with like the diamonds and the halter, and it's definitely good for girls.
Well, my daughter cannot have mine. And I actually signed off on Clubhouse the other day. I said, this is Jaffe with the eye patch. But I thought I would do something unprecedented, something that I've never done before, which is I'm actually going to mint one of your NFTs live on air. And I'm not even sure if I'll be able to do it properly, but I'm sure as hell going to try. So let me see. I'm going to mint it. I have no idea what gas is going to look like.
I love this.
Gas is $43. I'm minting it as we speak, and hopefully, we'll get to see what she looks like. She's an instant reveal, right?
Instant reveal.
Okay, so all I got to do now is let's Let's hope she went through. I'm gonna wait for a second and see if it comes through, but we'll come back to it in a moment. And
So our devs are so amazing. It's Golden X, and they like wrote our contract so that we literally our gas is almost always really good,
no
reasonable.
kidding. All right,
Yep, Golden X.
so I'm going to go ahead and see if she has arrived yet. But I actually minted an NFT live
That's
on
so
the
cool.
internets. Yeah, I think so. But before we do that,
Can't
you know,
wait.
I wanted to go back to this project. You spoke about utility, and actually, I asked you. I said, "What makes your project different to any other project?" And you said it is absolutely utility. So, talk a little bit about this utility in terms of today, but more importantly, like tomorrow, because I think one of the things that you also spoke about is this idea of earning revenue by licensing NFTs. So, I would love to give you the floor for a moment. While you're doing that, I'm going to go hunt around and see if she's appeared yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the licensing deals. We are right now negotiating with a famous rapper to leverage one of the NFTs likenesses on their new streetwear brand. And that's 100% the proceeds go to the NFT holder. We are also 10 of our models, 10 of our NFTs are walking in New York Fashion Week. And so what that looks like is we chose 10 where there were lots of submissions, and we chose 10 that felt like the most appropriate for walking, for animating. And we drew legs on and had them animated, and they're walking on a digital runway while IRL fashion shows are going on. So that's another like sort of a brand deal, but with New York Fashion Week. Other utility is, access to the metaverse. Other than like, there's a lot of utility in terms of licensing deals, and we're doing something with a cover, covers of a magazine, a very well-known magazine. They're doing a drop, and they're going to leverage our models to be the cover. And so once like I said, we licensed land in Decentraland, and we, NFT holders have access to that space, and we're having networking events, like other runway shows. Like I said before, we're going to have photo shoots, but like these are like opportunities for like offline opportunities that will eventually turn into online online opportunities that will eventually turn into offline as well if you want.
What's so great about it is, what people don't seem to realize when it comes to this idea of virtual is it's not about new replacing old. It's not about or, it's about and it's about the ability to create this beautiful tapestry, this, they call it the multiverse, right? We have a different, we're calling it the metaverse, but maybe we should be talking about the multiverse, because there are multiple layers and multiple textures and multiple ways that we can identify ourselves. I'm identifying myself right now, as Ellie, Ellie with the eye patch. But I'm actually ready to share my mint. She's definitely not as rare as Ellie, but she is special because I'm giving her to my daughter. So that is what I just minted live on air. She's beautiful.
Can you make her bigger? Does she have a halter on?
Does she
Like,
have
can you click on the?
Look at properties.
I can't.
She's got a black halter.
It's a black halter. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's Mimi. She's a really well-known model in New York City.
There she is. Well,
yeah.
No, I was going to say it could be kind of cool one day. Tell Mamie and tell Ellie if they ever want to pop by, and and not famous bomb the show, they can come and say hi.
That would be very cool. I like that.
I wanted to
Thank
ask
you
you
for
a question.
buying that, Joseph.
Oh, you're welcome. I bought the other one too, because one of the things about NFT, I was saying this to you in the green room, is that this is not a paid segment. I'm a customer. I'm a member of the community, and I want to support these communities by celebrating the founders. If you're undoxed, you're not coming on the show. So number one, number one, you've got to be a human being because humanity has to prevail over technology. Number two, I need to be a customer, meaning I bought your NFT. And number three is I'm doing it post-launch because it's not about, again, the floor. It's about being able to say, what happened? What did you learn? Where are you heading now? Get us excited about the future because the hard work is not over. The hard work is just beginning. Now you've planted the seeds. Now it's time to water and nurture, and ensure that beautiful giant oak tree results.
Yeah, and see where it goes. Like, who knows? Like, when I came up with the idea, so Casting Coin was started on a white paper, right? Like 3 years ago, I wanted to tokenize the booking experience, but like within a month of the white paper, I realized we were way too early. So I wrote a business plan, and I've been heads down for the past 3 years building that company. But then, and who knew NFTs were going to come around and give us the opportunity so soon to start disintermediation in a different way than I ever thought possible. But it's about, like I said earlier, like keeping your mind open and realizing that like I have a goal. I'm guarantee you I'm not going to get to it the way I think I'm going to, or the way I want to at this point, but I'm going to get there.
As I'm looking at all the comments here, Brian saying, need to get one of these for my 16-year-old daughter. She'd love it. I think we've almost come up with a very interesting use case here, which is the ability for parents to embrace this wonderful collection for their daughters. And, I'm going to be, my daughter actually leaves today to Copenhagen. She's traveling abroad for her semester abroad. And I have a little parting gift for her now. I have an NFT that she can put in her wallet and keep with her, and I will keep adding to it as well. And I have you to thank, Michelle.
And she could possibly make some money off of it if she wants to.
Well, she's not allowed to sell. No one's allowed to sell. But
no, I mean, no, but she could, like, licensing deals. She could be part of that.
Oh yeah, exactly. As we were talking about humans, I was thinking to myself, I'm having this segment on, and initially when I came up with the concept, I was thinking it's okay for people to come on and be their avatar, and so basically instead of having them on, maybe it's the avatar, maybe not the avatar talking because we can't do that, like the kind of the Animoji on the iPhone. And now I realize, what, that absolutely is never going to happen. This is about really being able to meet the founder and understand the vision and understand why they got into this and where their heart is and where their soul is. And I would love for you to talk a bit about the importance as a founder to be, I was looking at all your announcements in your Discord. You guys are all over in terms of press and media. And I think it's less about the earned media and the publicity, and it's more about being able to take that message and share that message.
That's totally true. Yeah, we're not really about paid media at this stage, probably someday. But right now it's about like getting FaceTime with people, like doing stuff like this, doing spaces in Discord, answering questions, building like, people keep saying building community. And so I hate to say the same thing over and over, but it's like building community in a way where you're like connecting with one person at a time. And it takes some time, but I've actually built community before, like a few years ago. And what I have found out, and I think it happens all the time, is you do it little by little and it feels slow and then all of a sudden it's like, because if you're adding value, right? If people like what you're saying. And so like, because I have faith that is going to be the process here, and it is the process here. We really do feel like it's important to humanize this whole Web3 experience.
There is something so parallel. I spoke about this idea of overnight success, 3 years in the making. That's how I look at the show. That's how I look at this brand that I'm building. We also talk about, from the marketing space, everyone wants viral marketing, right? A viral success. And I've never actually heard of community being framed that way. And I've had over 310 guests on the show. That community itself is exactly like that. It is slow burn. It is slow and steady. And then like that, it just takes off. And the community
the organic ones, Yeah. I'm sure like if you're like an Adidas or somebody that has like a ton of money, you can build a community quickly. Well, although they built a brand over 100 years. But when you're doing it like organically like this, it does take some time. But honestly, the smaller, as an ad person, the smaller communities are really powerful. And then of course, as they get bigger and bigger, they just become like epic. But there's a lot of value in the small communities as well.
And I have to say, in my soliloquy, I spoke about how a week ago I didn't really even have a Discord server. And now when you see all of the different ways of unique roles and leveling up, you actually realize and that people find their tribes and tribes within tribes and tribes within tribes within tribes where, you can be, I can put on my marketing and my advertising hat, and I can put on my host hat, and I can be my NFT member hat. And in some cases, I might be the star of the show, and in others, I might just be wallpaper. And all of that can exist in the same Discord server, actually, if you think about it.
Yep, it's so true. I love that. So how is it going for you in the Discord? Are you like spending a lot of time on it?
I mean, I actually hired someone from another community to help me build out my Discord server, which is kind of cool. And
It's
it's
so
just
true. You have to
it's
though.
wonder
Yeah.
and awe. Like every day I'm like, oh,
Yep.
you can do that? That's awesome. I can do that too. Fantastic.
It's not
And
intuitive, is like, yeah. It's like a thing to
you
get
you
used to, but once you get used to it, it's very cool.
and then you find out little things like being able to tag a channel so people can jump from channel to channel, etc. I also think, Darlene says, by the way, Fierce will be epic, and epic will be
My
fierce,
best
no
friend.
doubt.
Thanks, Darlene.
No doubt as well. And look, and this is the beautiful thing about the content, even today's content, is that everyone in the community can experience this because this is a celebration of them. This is a celebration of the community, but also it's a celebration, Michelle, of you, as one of the founders. Your heart is in this, your soul is in this, your purpose is in this, and you have a vision. And it is a fierce vision at that, which is to help, your community, your models be able to monetize fairly and competitively.
Not the models, yes, with Mint, but more it's the holders is where we're really focused on adding the value. The models are making, percentage of they're getting royalties,
Right. Well,
but
they're
the
getting
actual
royalties.
the royalties, right. But and that's on sales, but what we're actually working with the brands on is like for our holders.
So that's amazing. So you really are bringing this down to the community
Totally.
level. It's fantastic.
100%. That's what it's all about. Yep.
And I will tell you that, I was saying this the other day, not being cynical at all, but if you think about what's happening in Web3, what's happening is that it is just an alternative funding model. Now, the Web 2, the Web 1, the startup world was all about the .com boom and bust, was all about friends and family, bootstrapping friends and family, angels, VC, Series A,
VC,
Series
yeah.
B, blah, 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 go public, sell out, right? Now what's happening is, there's an NFT kind of Genesis collection, and then there's perhaps another collection, and then there's a token, and there are rounds of funding and financing. And as I said, not being cynical about it, but there are projects that are not really in it for the community, that are in it for the funding. And that's where it becomes, I don't want to say a Ponzi scheme, but it becomes just this idea of the addiction of more funding and more funding and more funding. And for me, what I'm taking away from this amazing first NFT Friday is, if you don't see community utility and community value from day one, that, I'm not saying it's a red flag, but it's a flag. It's a flag that says, you know what, or to put it differently, I don't want to invest in communities where they say, hey, it's coming, just trust us. It's down the line. You are
I would
delivering
like
that
to think,
early.
yeah, I would like to see it become expected that these collections are very clear about what the utility is. Very clear, not being just about a cause. Because I don't know, unless you're a charity, right? Then But other than that, like, because there's so much opportunity in Web3 to have like real utility. And I'm not saying people should be forced to do this, but it should become like a culturally expected thing for then that NFT to actually become valuable and sellable.
It is such a great soundbite, almost as we kind of wind down, that it shouldn't be asked utility optional. It should be, what is the utility? Not is, not right, not is there utility, but what is the utility? And then hopefully we get to the next level where it's not, well, it's the end. What do they say? It's the ante up. You want to play, you've got to offer it. But the winners are going to be the ones that aren't just, as they say, limping in, are the ones that are going all in, just to use a nice poker analogy.
And I don't think empowering women is utility. I mean, I could be wrong, and I would love to hear other people's opinion on it. And maybe there's something you can do within empowering women that becomes a utility. But the global blanket of empowering women to me, is not a utility.
I want to just press you on that. So if empowering women is not a utility, then what is?
Well, there's a lot of different things, but for example, what we're doing, like earning revenue for our holders, brand deals, leveraging, having, it's not just a value to the holder, it's a value to the brand that's wanting to get into this NFT space in a meaningful way. So we're facilitating that. That's utility. That's a very value.
Michelle, I have like just banners that from shows, because I've been doing this now for almost 2 years. And for some reason, I never deleted this one that said the rate of women leading companies in the S&P 500 sits at just 6.4%. And I asked the question, what is, and you answered it exactly as I thought you would, which is this idea is, it's not good enough. Let me reframe. It's not good enough just to say empowering women, making it 30,000 foot. Be specific, be explicit by doing this, this, and this. Be absolutely explicit and specific. And don't be afraid, and don't be embarrassed, and don't hold back in terms of using and talking about the money and the numbers, because there are a lot of people, and, to quote Fanzo, a lot of bad people making way too much money. It's time to make sure that we spread it around, wouldn't you say?
And Fierce is empowering women by empowering the founders. We are women. And so then we're role models, right? That's empowering. But then we're also like empowering our holders, which are also men. And I like empowering men too. So we're empowering men, women, trans, whoever is holding our NFT and wants to, a licensing deal or wants to have an experience.
Yeah. And you are. I mean, you've empowered me. You've empowered me to actually go out there and find something to give my daughter on the day that she actually leaves. I actually have a gift that is personal and meaningful, and creates an additional connection. And I've been looking at the comments, and you are minting today, Jay Toledo. I don't know if Jay Toledo is male or female, but Jay, the initial J said, so I minted same time as well. So I hope many people will mint, and it is certainly not an if, but a when that we see this wonderful collection selling out. And so this free NFT that we're giving away, thanks to you, Michelle, and thanks to your co-founders as well. Just as a reminder, we will open it up for a few days, so you have a chance. You've got to follow Fierce Studios on their Discord. You've got to follow my show's Discord, and then subscribe to the show on YouTube. All the links are in the show notes. The links are in my Discord. I will paste them again if you really need it as well. Michelle, I want to make sure that the last word is yours. I hope you've enjoyed being on the show, but more importantly, as being you never forget the first, and I will never forget you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been great talking about Fierce, and your enthusiasm for us is really it's great for us. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you buying, you minting one of our NFTs live.
Yeah, that could a lot could have happened there. The gas could have been $8,000, and then I would have been, well, maybe I'll just do it later. But I appreciate that smart contract that was designed to help me out. Let's just look at a few final comments. Lubna says, woman empowerment is what? How is the utility? That's great. Brian Wallace has subscribed to all three. Darlene says, Michelle is a natural teacher. And on that note, we always end the show. I want to wish all of you guys a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on Monday, NFT Friday, next Friday. But Michelle, we always end the show with Chuck Norris, who gets to tell us what he thought about not just our guest, but also their NFT project.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
There you go. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show. And if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.